And one last thing that I want to show you, and this is something that I want to show you if you are someone, or I really should say it's for everyone, but this is especially helpful if you are someone who is really kind of fighting the system here, and you really don't want to be on a keyboard, you want to be on your mouse, you want to point and click on things. I just want to show you that over here on the right in this PowerShell ISE, you will see that you have this Commands tab. And here we have all the various commands, okay, and it's a huge list. I mean, if I were to try to scroll through here, there's thousands of commands. And they're broken down into various modules, okay, so you have the different modules that contain the various commands. Coming back over here, you'll even notice that when we got help for each of these commands, it shows you what module it's a part of, okay, so what I'm going to do is click this down, and then I'm going to start typing in SERV. And actually, it went too far, but here's the Server Manager module. All right, and in this Server Manager module, I'm going to go ahead and click on Get Windows Feature. Oh, by the way, you know, I should back up a step. Hold on, let's refresh this. I said that I was going to show you if you didn't really want to use the keyboard or not that much. I could have actually pulled this down and just scrolled alphabetically down to Server Manager. And then from there, I have Get Windows Feature. And what's really cool is from there, if I click Show Details, I can put in certain parameters. So for instance, the computer name, I can put in NYDC-1, and then down here, I can click on the Run button, and look what happens. And I know it all kind of scrolled real quickly, so let me jump back a little bit here. Scroll way back up here. I just want to show you, it typed it all in for me. Get Windows Feature, and the parameter is computer name, New York DC1. How cool is that? I didn't have to memorize anything. I have everything right here through the GUI where I can point and click. I can look at lists. I can look at choices of commands. And then I can put in parameters and just tell it to run it for me. And boom, there it is. And what did this do? Well, it showed me all the features that are on New York DC1. And you'll see that it's showing me an entire list of all these different features that are, and really this is roles and features, right? Because you can see things like Active Directory domain services, that's a role. And then there's features that are built in, and if you scroll down, eventually you'll get to not just available, but certain features that are actually installed. Now, I really want to emphasize that the point behind this lesson was not to show you specific commands. Okay, so if you're thinking, all right, great, so I learned about 4 or 5 commands, then you're looking in the wrong direction. The point was to show you the tools, because PowerShell is something that you're going to want to know where it is if you're going to administrate Windows Server 2012. Now let me close this. Let's go back to just a regular PowerShell window. I'm going to show you if I go ahead and type net start, right? Remember we did that back in the old command prompt? Look what it did. It still works. You can still do the old commands from within the PowerShell command window. How cool is that? All right, now real quick before we wrap things up, I just want to make sure to emphasize again an understanding. This operating environment was built on top of PowerShell, and what's really cool about this is in the old days, if you wanted to perform certain advanced functionality, it had to be done explicitly either through a command prompt, if there was only a command way of doing it, or only through the GUI, if there was only a GUI way or a graphical way of doing it. Whereas now, because everything is built on top of PowerShell, if you can do it from PowerShell, you can do it in the GUI, but more specifically, if you can do it in the GUI, and I'm talking pretty much anything, you name it, if you can do it in the GUI, if you can point and click, then you can also do it from the PowerShell command script, which is awesome because that means that you can script and automate pretty much anything that you're trying to do. And I will also tell you that there are certain areas of Windows Server 2012, and I think you will see more and more of these as time passes, in certain areas, within certain utilities. When you perform the function in the GUI, you will be given the option to either view and or export the actual PowerShell commands that are performing the task that you are pointing and clicking and doing. Okay, so I will show you that when we come across some of that in later lessons. But I just want to tell you that it's also a great way to easily kind of reverse engineer your way into a script. In other words, you might be thinking, I know how to do this. I know how to point and click and make something happen. Now I want to script it. Well, you might, in certain areas of the operating system, you might be able to literally just click on a button where it will show you. It'll say, here's your script. Let me just hand it to you. Very, very cool stuff. And so this is basically how you work with PowerShell.